Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tva sarvapapebhyah mokshayishyami ma shuchah. This is considered to be the last verse of instruction in the Bhagavad Gita. After this, there are 12 more verses, and those verses are what? Concluding verses. Verses which just sum up the teachings, and verses that talk about who should study this, for whom this Shastra, Gita Shastra, which is the same as what? Upanishad Shastra, for whom it is meant and for whom it is not meant. That is also important. And so it is just a kind of a nice summary of that. And then towards the end we are reminded that we have some hidden shrotas also, hidden listeners. Who are the hidden listeners? Of course, Lord Krishna is talking and giving the knowledge. To whom? Arjuna. He is not a hidden listener. He is there, right there. But there are some hidden listeners. Who are they? Sanjaya, Dhritarashtra. Then we are reminded. So the shift takes place. From the battlefield, we go back to the palace. Remember, we started at the palace. Then we go back to the palace. This is how beautifully you weave everything and bring it to a close. You don't leave things hanging here and there. You bring it to a close very nicely. So then the scene shifts back to the palace, and Dhritarashtra opens it and Sanjaya closes it. So it is in a way from the standpoint of the warrior, the person who is not even present but present. And who is Dhritarashtra? Dhritarashtra is oneself alone. In a way, we are also like hidden listeners. Like Dhritarashtra, like Sanjaya, we are also hidden listeners. And we are also sometimes blinded to our priorities. Like Dhritarashtra was. We are blinded to our priorities. The buddhi is not seeing things clearly, and as a result, there is suffering. Moha is there. Dhritarashtra is the embodiment of moha, of the jiva who is under the spell of raga, dvesha, moha, etc. And then, so Sanjaya also gains this knowledge. Sanjaya is the opposite side of Dhritarashtra. Even though he was in Dhritarashtra's employ, he was much more prepared than Dhritarashtra. He got the knowledge. So in Sanjaya and in Dhritarashtra, we have the positive and the negative archetypes of respectively of the people who are ready to or not ready to receive this knowledge. So Arjuna would have been enough, but then the hidden listeners, because we are also in a way, we are also listening to Arjuna gaining this knowledge. So we are also on the outside listening in. And so what kind of archetype we should follow and how we should be more like Sanjaya, Arjuna, etc. Nachiketa, and then who else? Shaunaka, all the people we have studied. And let's also add Ashvalayana, about who we will come to hear tomorrow. Sage Ashvalayana from the Kaivalya Upanishad. Ashvalayana going to Prajapati. adhihi bhagavo brahma vidyam varishtham sada sadbhihi sevyamanam nigudham yaya chirat sarva papam vyapohya parat param brahma apnoti vidvan. Like this, the question itself is so laden. The question itself shows the preparation. Like the question in the Kenopanishad, very high level. And so this is how we as the listeners must be to reap the benefit of this knowledge. That is the tone on which the Bhagavad Gita will draw to a close. But we have to first finish seeing this verse, the last verse, and perhaps the most important verse of the teaching, which is Sarva Dharman Parityajya. And since the Bhagavad Gita is all about dharma, we saw that you cannot leave dharma. And you cannot leave dharma, it is not about dharma. So dharma is translated into what? Into concepts of punya, papa, good, bad, and all these dyads, these pairs of opposites in which one is trapped. As long as one is in the jagat, one is trapped by various pairs of opposites, and that is what one has to free oneself from. So sarva karma, karman, actually karmani, it would not be karman, sarva karmani parityajya. Parityajya means leaving. So that's why this verse is very clever. Who gives up all karmas? Sannyasi. So it is a verse for the person who wishes to take vividisha sannyasa. Vividisha sannyasa veditum ichha. So the one that is spurred by the desire to take a sannyas, to take to a life of sannyasa, and then listen. In fact, that is what is recommended. Sannyasya shravanam kuryat. Listen to the Shastra after taking sannyasa. After taking sannyasa, one must listen to the Shastra, because what else is there to do? You can't start an agarbatti factory, okay? Yeah. And try to make money. That is not the idea. First, the fellow was doing business. And then what? Now spiritual business. That is not the idea. And so therefore, what for the sannyasa is taken? In order to listen, in order to just be with the Shastra, so that I don't have the roles of cooking, cleaning, duties of what I should do as a husband, what I should do as a spouse, what I should do as a father or a mother, or in the society. I have no duties. And why do I free myself of the duties? So that I can listen. So this, the Gudha Abhisandhi. Gudha Abhisandhi means the hidden meaning here is, that's why this verse is very important. The hidden meaning is that it is for sannyasis, and then the overt meaning is that it is for karma yogis. Why is it for karma yogis? Because Arjuna is a karma yogi. Arjuna is listening to this. But the hidden meaning is sannyasa is also indicated. Sarva karmani parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. Take recourse, take shelter, take refuge only in me. And we also saw last time the me that is talked about in the Bhagavad Gita is not that you will get moksha because of what? Lord Krishna alone. So if you are a Rama Bhakta, you will not get moksha. That's not the idea. The whole idea is preposterous. Then what is this Mam Ekam? Ekam Mam. What is this Ekam? Me alone. Well, here it is understanding that there is only one Brahman. And then if there is only one Brahman, which is in the form of you, Shuddha Chaitanya, free of attributes, free of name, form, etc., that same Brahman is as though superimposed with name, form, and creative power called Maya, Shakti, etc. And because of that, it is able to create, it is able to sustain. And then in relation to the Jagat, we call this entity Ishvara. So the consciousness, the process by which consciousness turns into, as it were, a conscious being, that is what is Ishvaratvam. And so that Ishvara here, no matter by what name, by what form you call, it is still one. Why? Because the truth of that Ishvara is just one. All the names go there, all the forms go there, and it makes absolutely no sense to say you will not worship other gods. Why? Because there is only one God. If there is only one God, how can I worship other gods? Whatever I worship will be that God only. So this is what the idea is. There is nothing other than that. And in fact, Pujya Swamiji would give a sadhana to all of us. And he would say, try to go away from Brahman. Don't say, let me try to find out Brahman, let me try to experience Brahman, let me try to be with Brahman. Don't go there. Instead, what do? You say, let me go away from Brahman. Please let me try shifting away from Brahman. What do you get? Are you able to do this sadhana? This is a sadhana that you cannot do even if you do a headstand. Headstand is easier than this sadhana. Because if you say, okay, I am going to avoid all temples and ashrams because that's where Brahman is, and then where will you go? I will stay at home. Home is Om. Om is Brahman. Okay? So you can't avoid Brahman at home. Is Brahman at home or not? Yes, Brahman is at home. Okay, then I'll just go to an open space. Open space is what? Brahman or not? Brahman. Okay, I'll go to the jungle. Jungle is Brahman or not? Jungle is Mangal. So therefore it is also what? It is also Brahman. No, I'll go to the mountains. Mountain is Brahman. I'll go to the water. Water is Brahman. Now I will go to the sky. Sky is Brahman. I'll be in between space and sky. That is also Brahman. Antariksham. Brahman. That's why the Upanishads sometimes end like this. Brahma Purastat. What is in front is Brahman. Brahma Paschatat. What is behind is Brahman. Brahma Uparishtat. Upar. Uparishtat means upar. Up. Up is also what? Brahman. Brahma Adhasthat. Niche. Below. Below is what? Brahman. Prithvi, Brahman. Antariksham, Brahman. Dyau, Brahma. Everything is Brahman. You cannot move away. And how many Brahmans are there since we last checked? One and only one. Therefore, the one that says Mam is just the conscious entity endowed with the power to create, etc. It is non-separate from the conscious entity that is you. Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. Ekam. There is only Ekam. There is no Dvi, Trihi, nothing. There is not 2, 3, etc. But so many things we see in the universe, the truth of all of them is one alone. Everything just comes back to one. When you shake off all the things that move and shake and that are finite, the infinite is only one. How can you say it is only one? Okay, try to disprove it. Try to disprove it. This is the power of Shastra Pramana. It cannot be disproven. And it is not a belief. It is you. All that is there is one, and then that happens to be called Aham, me. Here Bhagavan says it's me. And so, Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. So why should I surrender to you? Well, Aham Tva. What will I do? What does it say? Aham Tva Mokshayishyami. Mokshayishyami. I will set you free. Mokshayishyami. From what? Sarva papebhyah. From all papas. This has caused a great controversy. And after this shloka, Adi Shankara is in such a state of urgency that he has pages and pages of bhashya defending this. You can see until the next verse, there is so many pages of Bhashya till the next verse comes. Because he has a sense of urgency to set things and the people right. Because the Purva Mimamsaka, the one who says that you should just do karma, 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 and then after doing all karma alone, all the things will become all right, and then you will gain moksha from karma and upasana, you will go to heaven. That fellow is completely parajitaha. That fellow is defeated, and then the Nayayika says, let me logically establish Ishvara for you, and then that fellow is also defeated. And then so many people like that come and go. Adi Shankara deals with all the sparring partners of his day and then establishes that here aham tvam sarva papebhyah tvam mokshayishyami. So I will set you free. And the Purva Mimamsaka is jumping up and down, the one who is a karmatha. Why? Because there is no jnanam needed. What is needed? Only Bhagavan is needed. You pray, 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 and then moksha drops from the sky. You catch it. You catch moksha. Like you catch a cold. You catch moksha suddenly, spontaneously. And this is the kind of a spiritual romanticism. And the verse is also kind of terse. It is not easy to understand. Aham tvam mokshayishyami means what? I will set you free. I am the one who is setting you free. And Bhagavan says, my responsibility to set you free from what? All the papas. That we will come to in a bit. But I am the one who is going to set you free. Means what? I am bound. You are bound, and without me there is no freedom. But then what is that? Then Adi Shankara raises a point. He says the whole thing, this is a Gita Shastra, has been presented as a Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana Shastra. And why is it a Shravana Shastra? Because it is just like the Upanishad. We have seen, so far we have seen 3 Upanishads, and all of them are what? They are just, all their message is being reiterated in the Bhagavad Gita. It's not anything new in the Bhagavad Gita that's being told. It's only the Upanishadic messages that are being broadcast and rebroadcast and re-broadcast. That's what it is. So that being the case, if the Upanishad is just being taught again in the form of the Bhagavad Gita, then jnanadeva moksha, right? So we have to see that. We have to say that through knowledge alone moksha is. Moksha is gained how? Through knowledge, not through karma, not through doing yoga. Even karma yoga is an indirect means of knowledge, not a direct means of knowledge. Karma yoga, bhakti, etc. gives what is called shuddhi, a cleansing of what is called the inner instrument, the heart, the mind, etc., from all kinds of nonsensical concepts and thoughts and notions which need to be dropped. And so, therefore, what? So, therefore, this moksha is gained by knowledge alone. It was drilled into our ears, one hole was made here, and that was poured and packed and sealed, correct? And now what? Aham tvam mokshayishyami. So if Ishvara is the dispenser of moksha, he is going to sprinkle moksha everywhere, then Adi Shankara raises an objection and answers it also. What is the role of knowledge? Then why did... This is not fair that Lord Krishna waited until the last chapter, last teaching verse of the last chapter to tell us that Bhagavan is the one giving moksha. Why couldn't he have told this earlier? And then how do we understand this how do we understand this apparent contradiction? Jnana devatu kaivalya, or this oneness is gained only by what? Only by jnanam. And here Bhagavan saying, I am the one who will free you. What to do now? Scratch the head, okay, if the head is still there. And then, so Adi Shankara raises many doubts connected to this very long, involved arguments. We will not be seeing that. And so ultimately, he comes to this understanding that yes, he comes to a very radical place. He says that what are you? He says, you are already what? Ishvara. What are you? Are you free or are you bound? You are already free. If you say I am bound, that means what? That means that one is buying into this notion that one is bound, buying into this notion of bondage. So it's not that you did not have moksha before. It's not that the person did not have moksha before and after jnanam got what? Moksha. The person was always free. Before jnanam also the person was not bound. After jnanam also naturally the person is not bound. Alright? So now what is the role of jnanam? Tell me. If you are already not bound and then you were never bound and you are not bound, then what is the role of knowledge? There is no role of knowledge. And then the next question comes, if knowledge is not necessary, then even karma for antahkarana shuddhi etc. is not necessary. Why is karma necessary for antahkarana shuddhi? Why is antahkarana shuddhi necessary? So that I get ready for jnanam. Why is jnanam necessary? So that I know I am not bound. If I am not bound to begin with, then neither jnanam nor karma is necessary, rendering this verse completely moot. Meaning that this verse, Adi Shankara says, is a very, it's the last trick of Lord Krishna. Last trick. He did many tricks in the Mahabharata. He made day into night. You see, Duryodhana went to Sahadeva. Who is Sahadeva? Yeah, one of the twins, Pandava twins. And then he was a world famous astrologer of his time. Duryodhana goes to the enemy camp and then asks Sahadeva, give me a muhurta, give me an auspicious time to fight the war so that I can win. And Sahadeva very, very nicely does that and gets hit on the head by Nakula afterwards, I'm sure. What are you thinking? Why did you do this to the enemy? Sahadeva is so objective, he doesn't see anything. He was seen as a sadhu really. In a way, he was a sadhu. He just was into astrology and he said, okay, whoever comes, I'm just going to give them the truth. And he tells him. And Duryodhana in all aplomb tries to wage the war at that time. What happens? Sudden surprise eclipse in the form of Lord Krishna. And so that muhurta is gone by just a few seconds and he loses the war. Meaning that this is the role of Daivam, Ishvaratvam. In any enterprise, including the so-called pursuit of knowledge. So this verse can be seen from the standpoint of the pursuit and from the standpoint of the phala of the pursuit. Aham tvam mokshayishyami means knowing yourself as me, that itself is moksha. It's not that I am an entity that's going to sprinkle some moksha water on you and say, hereby you are free, you are purified. No. When you understand that I am you and you are not separate from me, that itself is the purification. That Ishvaratvam takes away with it all the papas. Papa here means not just papa karma, punyas also. All the punyas, papas, things that cause rebirth. That is what it is. Punya also causes rebirth. A person who has, see all these celebrities, with so much money they don't know what to do. They have so much money. And then if you have so much money and you don't know what to do, then what? You'll think of a few occupations in order to spend this money. And then and that gains more trouble and more discontent, and the loop goes on. And then sometimes one is born in a place where there is no knowledge possible at all, because the kind of circles in which one moves is just a bhoga bhumi. It is full of only bhoga, no yoga, no growth possible, because nobody else is talking about this in the surroundings. One has to work extra hard to come out of that and gain the knowledge. And so therefore here the Ishvara Kripa is pointed out on the surface level, and Ishvara Aikyam is pointed out in the hidden level. So first Ishvara Kripa, and that is going to be talked about in the 78th verse also, we will see that. But then the Kripa means what? Manushyatvam mumukshutvam mahapurusha samshraya, Viveka Chudamani says. Human birth, how am I able to pursue this knowledge and have an interest? Ishvara. And then mumukshutvam, how do I know that I am a seeker of freedom? Ishvara. How did I become a seeker of freedom? Ishvara. Everything is given, this is also given. And then Guru, how did the Guru Prapti take place for me? Ishvara. Ishvara Kripaya. Ishvarena Kripaya. Because of Ishvara Kripa only, Guru Prapti took place. And then when the knowledge comes, as the clarity grows, it is because of what? Ishvara only. This is the surface level meaning. And the hidden meaning here is that all that is here is Ishvara, knowledge is Ishvara, and if I am one with the knowledge, what is that? That is Ishvara. And I am freed. And so this is the freeing of the notion of bondage and the gaining of knowledge are not two separate acts. Because otherwise there will be a problem, we'll see that. So it's like saying, I'm going to cut a log of wood and then I'm going to make it into two pieces. Do you have to say that? No. If you cut the log of wood, what will happen? One log will naturally become two. They are not two different actions. The cutting of the log and the splitting of the log and then you getting two cut pieces are not two separate actions. And so here the gaining of the knowledge that I am nothing other than Ishvara and then being freed by Ishvara, so to speak, are not two separate actions. It is one and the same. Aham tvam sarva papebhyah. Sarva papebhyah means everything. First, on the surface level, we can take Sanchita, Agami, and what else? Even Prarabdha. Prarabdha is there for the onlookers. The onlookers will say, oh, the person is looking sick. Oh, the person is in a wheelchair. Oh, the person went to the hospital. But then, from the standpoint of the Jnani says, what? This is not even my body. Somebody took it to the hospital, somebody brought it back. From my standpoint, this is not even my body, so I don't have prarabdha. The Jnani does not accept prarabdha for himself or herself. That's why sarva papebhyah. It's not two papas, it's not everything, it's all of it. Sanchita, Agami and prarabdha. Same thing is pointed out in the Mundakopanishad, we have seen at length. What is that? Vidyate hridaya granthihi छिद्यन्ते सर्व संशयाः क्षीयन्ते च अस्य कर्माणि कर्माणि plural means more than two. We can't say it's one. In English plural means what? More than one. It can mean two, it can mean three, but in Sanskritam there is no such vagueness. If it was only it was only sanchita karma and agami karma, it would have said kshiyante cha asya karmani. No, karmani. So here also sarva papebhyah plural. Plural means even this so-called prarabdha which hangs, like a cloth like a shirt on a coat hanger. That is what this body is. It is just hanging on, it's just a vesha on a hanger. Hanger is the skeleton, and then other flesh, blood, bones is what? This thing called angi. This is what it is. It's just like a thing, like a kurta hanging on a coat hanger. That's all it is. And so aham tva mokshayishyami sarva papebhyah. So sarva papebhyah, papa, punya, everything. Even the punya becomes a cause for rebirth. So even that is included. All dyads, all difficulties. I'm the one who's going to free you. Why? Because you know yourself as me. You know yourself as me. So that's why you are going to be free. And so therefore there is neither the word karma overtly mentioned here in this verse, nor the word jnanam. Even though the whole entire Bhagavad Gita we have been talking of karma, 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 as in karma yoga, and we have been talking about jnanam, 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 as in atma jnanam. In this verse neither comes, and the most brilliant bhashya is here talking why. Why doesn't it come? Why neither karma nor jnanam comes when they have both been the main themes? And he gives a powerful argument for whom the karma. Who is the one who is doing the karma? And for whom is this karma? Is this entity doing the karma mithya or satyam? Mithya. Is the karma satyam or mithya? Mithya. And is the result of karma satyam or mithya? Mithya. And so, okay, you have answered the Adi, you have answered it yourself. Adi Shankara says, there is nothing more to here talk about. Oh, but what about Jnanam? Well, what does Jnanam do? It frees me. Are you bound? I mean, do you think you turn into something else after you study the Bhagavad Gita? Are you going to turn into an octopus to show that now you are a jnani? No. To show that now you are free? No. Life continues as before. That means what? You were already free to begin with. So, if you come and tell me you don't have knowledge, then there is need for karma, then there is need for dharma. And if you come and tell me, I would like to get out of this notion of bondage, then there is need for jnana. But really speaking, from the standpoint of Atma, there is neither bondage, nor there is freedom, nor there is need for freedom. And then there is neither any Ishvara outside of oneself, nor there is any pursuit. What is the pursuit? It's like the dog chasing its own tail. That's what it is. That is the pursuit. It is just oneself, going after oneself, so to speak. Mokshayishyami, and the last two words are Ma Ashuchaha. Do not grieve. And then that grief which was addressed and diagnosed by Bhagavan as despondency in Arjuna in the 11th verse of the 2nd chapter. And what was that grief? Ashocyan anvashochastvam. You are grieving over that which should never be a topic of grief. There are only two things in the world. What are they? Close. Atma, yes, very nice. I know if we are quiet for long enough, the answer will come. Atma, Anatma, only two things in the world. So now let us see which is the cause of grief. Is Atma the cause of grief? No. After 3 Upanishads, we cannot say Atma is the cause of grief. And after 17 chapters of Bhagavad Gita, also we cannot say Atma is the cause of grief. Is Anatma the cause of grief? Yes, Anatma is the cause of grief. How is it the cause of grief? Because it is finite. You know it is finite, right? Yeah. Then what is there to grieve over? Anatma is also not the cause of grief. Why? Because it is not me. So if the neighbor is crying, I am not sad. So that is neighbor is what? Anatma from this standpoint. So if something happens somewhere, maybe because of a place of empathy, I'll say, oh, that is terrible. These wars are terrible. What's wrong with humanity? I say that when I'm having my lunch, I'm continuing to eat and commiserate, and I'm continuing to go about my day. And then I may spend a few moments feeling, a sense of empathy, a sense of solidarity with the people who are having difficulty or with something that happens. So if supposing an object is destroyed, then I know it's an object. It is not touching me, the subject. So Anatma is not inherently the cause of grief. Neither is Atma the cause of grief. But somehow grief is here. Somehow it is here. Where did it come from? And that is exactly Lord Krishna's question. It is Ashocya. Whether you are talking of I or not I, both are Ashocya. Both are subject matters for no grief. Atma inherently is not the cause of grief, and then Anatma, you can see as a result of some reasoning, we can see that which is finite will continue to be finite. That which is finite is not infinite, you know that. Someday it has to go, and then therefore that too cannot be the cause of grief. And then so somehow this grief has come through what? Just like the snake has come on the rope. In the same way, the grief is a aropa. Like the snake over the ropa, the grief is a aropa. Over what? Over oneself. That's why it is called rope. Yeah. So, where did the snake come? The snake came from the collection of my own fears. The snake is a projection, the grief is a projection. In the light of the knowledge that this is aropita sarpa, what is that called? A superimposed snake over the rope, the quote-unquote snake is withdrawn. Similarly, the shoka here is also withdrawn in the light of the knowledge that I am free from that which is sentient, which is me, is not the cause of grief. That which is insentient, which is everything else other than me, cannot also be the cause of grief. Then the grief is withdrawn like even the snake is withdrawn. And so that, the diagnosis was done. You are suffering because you are shedding tears over that which does not deserve grief. Yet you talk like a pandit. But a real pandit, what does the pandit or the pandita, what do they not do? They do not grieve over things which come and go. Why? Because the nature of the things is what? To come and go. And that which doesn't come and go is not the cause of grief, because I want to be forever anyway. And that's what I am. And so that which started, the discussion which started in the 2nd chapter, 11th verse, that's why this is called the last teaching verse, because it is then concluded in the 66th verse of the 18th chapter. We may have forgotten Ashocyanam Vashochastvam, but Bhagavan Krishna doesn't forget, and he ties the loose ends together and says, therefore, there is no cause for grief. You are free of grief. Not only will this knowledge free you of duality, but it will also free you of what? Grief. You are totally freed of grief. And so then continuing, he says, Yaimam paramam guhyam Oh, did I skip? Did I skip a thing? Yeah. Ah, okay. Idante na tapaskaya. Idante na tapaskaya. Na bhaktaya kadachana. Na bhaktaya kadachana. Na cha shushrusave vachyam. Na cha shushrusave vachyam. Na cha mam yobhyasuyati. Following the style of the Upanishad, Bhagavan talks about 4 kinds of people to whom this knowledge must never ever 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 be imparted. Who are they? Tell me. Na vachyam first, not to be given. Atapaskaya. Atapaskaya means somebody who does not know the spelling of discipline. Okay, how to spell discipline itself they don't know. Forget having any discipline in their lives. So why should it not be given? Why should this knowledge not be given to them? Because it's a waste of your own breath. If you are giving them the knowledge, you will be wasting your time. First, the class cannot be conducted in a classroom. You will have to keep running behind them because they have many pursuits, and they will say, I'll come later, or you come behind me and tell me what you want me to study. And so you can't keep running after them because they are here now, gone right now. Here today, gone tomorrow. No discipline at all. No discipline with regard to sitting, no discipline with regard to eating, no discipline with regard to waking up, no discipline with regard to sleeping. And this should immediately bring us to the 6th chapter, all the Yukta verses. Yuktahara viharasya, Yukta karmasya cheshtasu, Yukta swapnavabodhasya, Yogo bhavati dukkha. There are 2-3 verses like this. That ahara, with regard to, ahara means what? Food. Vihara, moving about. And then sleeping, swapna. Swapna here means sleeping. Avabodha, waking. There is a appropriateness. Yuktata is there. And then further, na ati ashnataha yogo asti. For the one who stuffs himself or herself up to the gills, fully. There's not even one more teaspoon the person cannot eat. So that kind of eating, after eating like that, what comes? Sleep. Yeah. So therefore, Gita does not speak to such a person. Karma yoga cannot be had by such a person. And then, okay, I'm going on a fast from now till the end of eternity. Na ekantam anashnataha yogo asti. This yoga or this kind of a disciplined lifestyle is not there for the one who is starving. This was an experiment done in the Chandogya Upanishad by the father to the son. Shvetaketu was told to abstain from food for 10 days. Do not eat, but keep drinking. Otherwise, you yourself won't be there to reap the benefits of this lesson. Keep drinking water. Drink means water, okay, nothing else. Alright, so keep drinking water and then don't eat for 10 days. And then after that, he was told, chant the Samaveda, because Chandogya Upanishad is from the Samaveda. And so what did Shvetaketu was supposed to sing? How, how, how. He forgot ha and wu both. He could not even open his mouth. And then the father said, go eat and come. And he ate and come, and he could recall all the mantras. Whatever he was asked to chant and sing, he was able to do that. And so here, the ekantam anashnataha, that is also not discipline. It is a question of moderation, following the moderate path. And so like this here, atapaskaya, the one who doesn't know D for discipline, do not give this because it's a waste of their time. It's a waste of who else's time? Your own time. Who is the next person who should not be given this knowledge? Abhaktaya. The one who says there is no Ishvara. What is the use of bhakti? Why this? Why that? Why I should have Ishvara in this thing? Well, again, waste of time. Waste of time, because the person will also be like a quote-unquote self-made person who does not acknowledge anything given. There is no sense of being moved by gratitude. Gratitude means it's not something, scripted. It is spontaneous. All it takes is to see the smile of a small child and you feel like smiling. Why? Because there is the innocence, and that innocence itself moves you. That is gratitude. Like you're happy that you got to have this experience. You see a mother with her baby, just lifting the baby up into the air. You see the love there and you are moved. So this is what is the whole idea. That is in a way, it's the precursor to bhakti. Seeing that everything is given, being moved by whatever there is, by random acts of kindness, by just that invisible presence, the hand of Ishvara over everything that we see, in the best in all the beings. That's why we pray Bhadram Karne Bhishniyam Devaha. We pray like that. And so everything is just already here, and I too am here. And that itself, if the person is unable to be moved, then what is that? Then there is a lot of asuri vritti, there is a lot of tamas, and such a person who is not sensitive, who cannot feel, who cannot be touched by anything, who was in the last life a stone or a stone-like being. So such a person, do not give, because it would be, it would be sacrilegious to give to such a person. The abhaktaya, then who else should not be given? That's the second kind of person. Third kind of person, ashushrushaveh, the one who is not ready to listen. Meaning the head is full of notions. The readiness for Shravanam is not there in whom? Shushrusha, Shrotum Ichha, Ashushrusha, Nashrotum Ichha, Shushrushuhu, Shrotum Ichuhu, Ashushrushuhu, Nashrotum Ichu. Tasmai, like Gurave, Ashushrushaveh. Ashushrushu is the word. Like Mumukshu, Jignasu, the one who is not desirous of listening. The one who is not desirous of listening, that means what? It's like a teenager. You keep calling them, they will not come, they will not listen. You say, this is good for you, they will not listen. Why? Because they have their own ideas. And what is the first idea? Whatever the parents say. Because in that growing up time, there is a lot of rebellion. Everybody has gone through that, so we know. And so whatever the parents say is wrong. That is the feeling for the teenager. So this person has the same kind of a idea, because the head is filled with their own notions of what Ishvara may be, what Bhagavad Gita's importance is in the life, etc., etc. So the one who is not a shushrushuhu, to him or her, please do not give, because they already have their own ideas and they will not be moved. So there is no need to waste the time. And what's the fourth one? Abhyasuyate. So see, the one who insults Bhagavan. The first one doesn't even acknowledge Bhagavan. The second one competes with Bhagavan and says, what? Who are you? I can do better. There is in fact a story. This fellow challenged Bhagavan, challenged God and said, you and me, let us have a contest. Bhagavan said, okay, I'm on. The challenge accepted, the Lord said. So then this fellow wanted to make something that even Bhagavan could not make. So he dug some dirt from the ground. Bhagavan said, make your own dirt. This is Bhagavad Srishti, this is Ishvara Srishti. You make your own thing. and don't use any of my raw materials. So that's the idea. So the person is full of themselves, and the first one here, abhaktaya, denies the existence of Ishvara. The other one competes with Ishvara and says what Ishvara can do. Who has seen Ishvara? Hiranyakashipu type. I am Ishvara. Nobody should chant anybody else's name except me. To such a person, if you give the Gita to any of these fellows, if you teach the Gita, it is like throwing seeds on hot rock. What will happen to the seeds? Will they germinate? No. They will perhaps be roasted. It is good for pachanaya, natu prasavaya, not for reproducing, but for what? Cooking and eating. That's all. You can have roasted seeds full of antioxidants, that's it. But you can't, it will not germinate. So such a knowledge to put in this kind of heads, in these 4 kinds of heads, will not go anywhere, will not germinate, and it will be a disservice to the sanctity of the Upanishad and the sanctity of the Bhagavad Gita to give it to non-deserving peoples. Continuing. Yaimam paramam guhyam madbhakteshvabhidhasyati bhaktim mayi param kritva mame vaishyatya samshayah. So then, on the other hand, if the person teaches this most sacred, most secret and sacred, they sound similar. And so the one who teaches this most sacred knowledge, the most secret knowledge to somebody who is what? Capable of receiving. Who is that? Mad bhakteshu abhidhasyati. To somebody who is a Ishvara's devotee. Doesn't need to be Krishna's devotee, but the one who is a devout person. The one who does not compete with Ishvara nor deny Ishvara, because if you deny Ishvara, you deny yourself, really speaking. You are Ishvara. So if you say there is no Ishvara, there is no Brahman, then what? Then if you say Brahman is Asat, one becomes Asat. Asanne vasabhavati asad brahmeti veda chet asti brahmeti ched veda santamenantato viduriti. Taittiriya Upanishad. Asat eva saha bhavati. That person becomes as good as non-existent, the one who denies the existence of Brahman. Asat Brahma iti veda chet. Suppose the person understands wrongly what? Brahma is Asat. That person themselves becomes Asat. Why? Because that person happens to be Brahman. It's a rank form of self-negation. Asti Brahma. Yes, there is Brahma, the one who recognizes Santamenam tato viduhu iti. That person is a jnani. Consider them saintly. This is the idea revealed in the Taittiriya Upanishad. So if you give it to the right people, then their bhakti flowers into knowledge and they come to know themselves as me alone. Of this there is no doubt. Nacha tasman manushyeshu kaschin me priyakrittamaha bhavita nacha me tasmat anyah priyataro bhuvi. Bhuvi means on this earth. On this earth what? There is no one who is dearer to me. There is no one who is dearer to me than the one described above. Tasmat manushyeshu. Among all the people, there is kaschin me priyakrittamaha. There is no one dearer than that person who is what? Who is the bhavita, bhavita na bhavita, will not be dearer. Chame tasmad anyaha. So there is no one other than that person who is the best among all the people. Priyakrit tamaha. Why? Because they do whatever is I enjoy. What is it that I enjoy? For everybody to know that I am nothing other than you. This is what is the hobby of Lord Krishna. If Lord Krishna had a hobby, then it would not be flute playing. It would be making sure that everybody gained this knowledge. That is the hobby. That's not Krishna's job. It's his hobby. Means he enjoys this. Job means you do it because you have to do it. Here, Lord Krishna enjoys imparting this knowledge. And so through you, Arjuna, if such people gain this knowledge, then that person also, just like you are dear to me, they will become dear to me because they are doing what they are supposed to do. And it was already told in the 7th chapter, Jnani tu Atma eva. The Jnani is myself alone. And again in the 12th chapter we were told, after every quality of the Jnani, every lakshana of the Jnani, Sachamad Bhaktaha, this kind of a Bhaktaha, Same Priyaha, is very, very dear to me. So this dearness is what? Oneness. So that oneness is what? That oneness is gained through this understanding of the Bhagavad Gita. So if the Bhagavad Gita is imparted to the right people at the right time, then they also, because of this knowledge, become dearer to me. There's no one more dear to me than the one who does whatever they are supposed to. And what are they supposed to? They are supposed to study this knowledge. Adhyeshyate chaya imam dharmyam samvadamavayoho jnana yajnena te naham ishtasyamiti me matihi. So, the one who studies this dialogue of ours, who is that? Who is that one? All of us. Yeah. Yes. Not Krishna Arjuna. Dialogue of ours. All of us. The one who studies this knowledge, even they are blessed. All of us, the one who studies, adhyeshyate, the one who will study this knowledge, this blessed knowledge, samvadam avayoho, our dialogue, our sacred dialogue, when others study. Who are these others? We. So, when we study this dialogue, there is a great transformation. We now, what happens? Belong to an elite club, we think, and then what happens in this elite club? It's a club of one. It is just one only. You think, oh, I have got passes to an elite club. Let's see what happens there. Let's see how many people made it there. And it's like in Haridwar, I don't know if it is still there. There was a a tribute to Swami Akhandanandaji, and then there was a small place where his samadhi is. So there is a a teaching in Vedanta in action room, and it is full of mirrors. So wherever you see what? Infinite iterations of you. You are infinite in action. You turn this way, there is infinite iterations of you. Turn in front, infinite iterations of you, because the behind mirror and the front mirror, it just infinitely keeps on reflecting. And then you come out of it transformed, because they say please go have darshan. You think, oh, there is Akhandanandaji's murti and all this, and I'll do namaskar and everything. But true to what he taught, what is there is just a house, not a house, but a room of mirrors. And wherever you see, what you see is what? Yourself. What you see is yourself. And in fact, I went to this place in Rajasthan, where there is Rajasthan is full of palaces, but it is the natal family of Mirabai. Mirabai's family through the generations. her brother, everybody. So the descendants still live there. And then there they had the Krishna which was given to Mirabai to worship in a small temple, it is put there. So then they asked me to do some puja. I had gone there for a conference and to give some talks. So they asked me to do some puja and everything. So then I said, can I take a photo? And they said, please, you can take a photo, no problem. So then as I approached, I took a permission from the Murti, and as I approached to take the photo, I just had a silent prayer. Show me what you taught Mirabai. And then somehow I did not touch the phone at all. And then I pressed the photo, whatever that icon, and then what I saw was myself. I did not see the Lord. Somehow it got turned. The trick of Bhagavan Krishna. So if there was any doubt, is this Krishna or not? It was Krishna. So when I told the people this, they were just thrilled. They said, yes, he's a great trickster. He likes to have fun. So this is really what it is. The teaching is that it is all you. Wherever you go, it is you. It is not other than you. So the one who studies this dialogue, we feel, I'm in an elite club. There is Krishna, there is Arjuna, there is Shaunaka, and his teacher Angiras. Who else is there? You know, Ashvalayana and Prajapati, Yama and Nachiketa, and then me. But then when you go there, what is there? Me. That's all. And what kind of me? Sarvatma me. I am the Nachiketa. I am Lord Yama. I am Shaunaka. I am Angiras. I am Prajapati. I am Ashvalayana. I am everybody and everything. I am non-separate from everybody and everything. And all that is there is myself alone. This is the Jnana Phalam. For what? For anybody listening to our dialogue. Usually if there is a secret knowledge, then all the doors are closed and it is whispered in the ear. But this is being an open secret. In fact, Lord Krishna is inviting us to eavesdrop. Listen properly. Eavesdrop. Get this knowledge. Get this knowledge. And then you will also be myself alone. You will not be non-separate from me totally. We'll finish this in the next session. And then I will take, since Swami Satsvarupananda has already done the summaries, what I will do is I will do 8 significant verses of the Bhagavad Gita for day-to-day life. So we will just sort of look at certain verses and why those are important and what relevance they have in my life right now. So we'll be going over those verses after we finish this. Before we say the closing prayer, today will be the last satsang. So would you like to spend that in question answer? Yes? Any last? Yeah. So we'll have question answers and songs. Okay? Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari